Hello everyone, and welcome to Go Again, a fabulous cast. One of the mechanics in Flesh and Blood that really interests me is the resource generation mechanic, aka pitching. It really means that you have to strike a very strong balance between your deck building and your play, not only in just how you play it, but you also have to make sure that the deck is built correctly so that you have what you need when you need it. Today, that's what I want to talk about, is the perfect pitch. Alright guys, so welcome back to episode 4. So today I want to focus in, like I said, just on the pitch mechanic and how to play that. And what I really want to start off with is kind of my thesis of today, which I want to discuss, and hopefully you can tell me whether I'm right or I'm wrong or what you think about it. But my thesis is that unless a card is critical to the strategy of your deck, I don't see any reason that you should really ever play a 2-pitch card. Now, of course, there are exceptions, like I said, if it's critical to the strategy of your deck, something like that. But fundamentally, you're either going to be, I think, playing with the 1-pitch or the 3-pitch, right? As we've talked about before, the pitch system is really well designed in this game. So you actually have the same card, 3 different versions, the 1-pitch, the 2-pitch, the 3-pitch. The 1-pitch, of course, is a stronger card. The 3-pitch is the more resources, but it is actually a weaker card from an in-game standpoint. And I do want to talk about, so I had seen a pretty negative review of Fab online, and one of the feedback that individual gave was that he didn't like the fact that the art was the same on all 3 cards because they're effectively different cards. And I actually personally like that the art is the same, and here's why, right? When our brains link up to what a card does, we associate that with a picture, right? That's part of the reason that card games all the way back since Richard Garfield kicked off Magic have had pictures on them, is so that we can very easily in our brain associate picture to the text and what the card does, just like playing a game of memory when we were like 4 years old, right? So I actually appreciate that it's the same piece of art across all 3. It just helps me link it up. Because, I mean, the cards do the same thing, they just add different amounts of value. I certainly see his argument, and I appreciate his argument, but for me, I personally like the art being the same way. Anyway, back to the discussion. So, of course, what I'm showing here is Steel Blade Shunt, right? The 3-pitch version gives the 6 defend, the 1-pitch only has 4 defense. They fundamentally do the same thing. And we see this throughout the game, right? And even LSS has admitted on their website that some cards, like Scar for a Scar is actually the example they use, or like the 1-pitch version of Scar for a Scar is probably the only one you're ever going to play. And that's really what it comes down to for me, right? So what I'm showing right here is the Nimblism trio. So in this case, right, so what Nimblism does is the next attack action card with cost 1 or less you play this turn gains X attack, go again, right? Where it's 3, 2, or 1 for 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so in this case, you're probably not going to be playing most often the other cases of Nimblism, right? Because let's think about it, right? You're packing Nimblism to support a 1 or a 0. So cost card, I mean, right? So that means that your deck cost curve is pretty low. So I don't think it's very often that you're going to be playing the 2-drop and the 3-drop. And in all honesty, if your plan is to pitch it, you may as well be running the 3-pitch version just to maximize, because there's no penalty for going into the end of round with extra dollars, with extra resources. So again, that's where Nimblism, the 2-pitch version of Nimblism, I think kind of falls off, right? So 1-pitch, I think we definitely play that to advance our strategy. Our next 1 or less gets the extra bonus, and of course we should try and maximize that, getting the 1. And then if we're going to be playing it also for pitch or for resources, then we should be playing the 3. Now, of course, like I said, the exception to this is if that card is furthering your win condition, right? And a perfect example of that is Warrior's Valor, right? Warrior's Valor is like definitely a 9-card include in any Warrior deck as long as you can get them. It's a rare, so they're not that hard to get. I think with our box and the starter, I think we have 6 of them. So I think you're playing all of these. It doesn't matter, and the reason is because if you're planning on it hitting the table, then you probably don't really care what the pitch value is, right? You want to maximize what it's going to hit for if it gets on the table. In this case, you're really using it just for the fact that the weapon gets go again. So I think it really just works out here in this case, right? So I grant you that in this case we're playing all 9, but still I think the Nimblism thing kind of proved my point. Now what I'm showing here is Sharpened Steel. Now there are a lot, because Warrior decks are somewhat limited, you could make the argument that you could play 9 copies of Sharpened Steel. But I think this one's a little better argument, right? Your next weapon attack gains 3 and go again. So all it really does is just enhance the weapon attack. So are you really ever going to drop that one card to increase, right? So in the 3-pitch version is what I'm saying. Are you really ever going to play that card for 1? Maybe if it gets you out of a pinch, but generally you're going to be pitching it. And then that's where the 2-pitch version in the middle kind of falls on the maybe I'm pitching it, maybe I'm not. And honestly, with the way that the warrior cost curve works, you're probably not going to be wanting to pitch a 2. You're probably going to be wanting to pitch a 3, right? Because her attack or her weapon attack costs 1, so you want something to set up her weapon attack to hit. Give it go again, like Warrior's Valor's 1, then 1, and then another 1 for the second attack. So that's your 3-pitch right there. So a lot of 2s aren't going to do you a lot of good in that deck, right? All right, so Snatch, again, is kind of one of those maybe you do, maybe you don't, right? You definitely, I think, if you're going for the low cost curve, again, like Nimbleism into Snatch is a really good combo, right? That's actually why I chose this card. So you're definitely going to play the 3-hit Snatch, the 4-attack Snatch for 1 pitch. Maybe based on your strategy, because again, you have a low cost curve, maybe you do go ahead and play, in this case, the 2-pitch. I don't see any reason to ever actually put the 3-pitch Snatch into your head or into your deck. I don't think it's ever going to hit the table. I think there's a lot of other better cards that have 3-pitch that you can include, like a lot of the items or something like that could also get you out of a pinch. So I don't even think the 3-pitch Snatch ever really gets included. So I think the point I'm just trying to prove here is that you have to really look at what you're getting versus what you're paying when you're doing the deck building for this game, right? I mean, obviously, if you're playing a Bravo or a Rhinar, you're going to be playing a lot of expensive cards, so you're going to be skewing towards having 3-pitch. But that, of course, doesn't mean that you should be playing all 3-pitch cards, because then your attack curve is low. So really, I'm thinking that you're doing almost like a 1-to-1 type strategy, except for your crucial cards, which is why, again, I think it supports that argument that for the most part, you're either running the 1 or the 3. So I don't know, am I crazy? Let me know what you think. I know a lot of you guys have a lot more constructed games under your belt, or those of you who've been to the calling. So let me know how it works out, and if nothing else, go Commando.